Hello, happy Thanksgiving, and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Wooldridge.
Uh-oh, gang. What time is it? It's Titans time. It's the finale, and ooh boy.
It's over.
That's it.
I texted you that this finale is significantly better than last season's finale in that it exists.
And as in that it ends the story.
It ends. It's not just the second last episode and like, oopsie.
That is a significant improvement.
Yeah.
Here's your synopsis for episode 213, Nightwing.
Yes.
The Titans reassemble under Dick, who is now fully taken on the mantle of Nightwing. Sure, to fight Deathstroke and attempt to save Jericho. But that's not the only struggle they face, as the team finds themselves up against mind-altered versions of Gar and Conner, who are now supercharged weapons at the mercy of Mercy Graves and her Cadmus final Phase 2 plan. It's Titans versus Titans in this epic Season 2 finale that's filled with surprises.
Real
surprises
quick,
as in bad decisions?
Real quick, I just need to get this out of the way. We can stop. I know that I think collectively as a fan base, we can all agree that he needs to stop being called Dick. There's so many variations of Richard that we can...
You don't have to do Rick Grayson, because I've heard that's not great what's happening with the...
That you don't have to do that
DC
story,
stuff, yeah.
But Rick Grayson is fine.
Dick.
Yeah.
He's back.
He's back.
He's shimmied his way into a brand new suit.
What do you think of the new suit?
The suit looks good.
The suit looks good. I do think this show in particular leans a little too hard into like the armor.
But I get it, though.
It's a little chunky. And it makes me appreciate what the CW shows do, where they haven't really they love their leather, but they haven't really fallen in the trap of like heavy people running around in heavy armor.
It looks,
but I don't dislike it.
I don't dislike it either, but it also makes sense. Like, have a little bit of padding in there.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be bulletproof or something.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it could be also magic material, like everybody else's that like fixes itself and everything. You know, I feel like I don't want to fully poo-poo on this episode. Right up top. So good things.
Yeah.
I'll just do in no chronological order.
Yeah.
The suit looks good.
Yeah.
Deathstroke suit looks good.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay, so I've got some. I'm a big fan. It's taken me all season, but I'm now firmly in the camp of Ian Glenn's sassy Bruce Wayne.
Same.
Big fan. Yeah. I just like when there's later in the episode when he's hijacked Cadmus and he's like, oh, guess you're having big. I like this take on Bruce Wayne. It's similar to what Jonathan Hickman did with Mr. Sinister. It's like, what if he was sassy? And I like it. I think it's a nice, especially with as edgelord as the first season was. I think it's a nice change of pace. I think overall the cast is solid. The writing obviously doesn't always support them, but I think the performances across the board with what they're given are solid. But specifically to Brenton Thwaites and what he does with Dick Grayson this episode, that I think elevates some lukewarm material and makes me genuinely feel happy for where that character's progressed, even though overall I think this was possibly the weakest episode of the season, which is a bummer. It's especially a bummer because it's the finale. Like, of all the episodes not to whiff, it's like, the finale? Come on, man.
Yeah, and I wanted to give a shout out to, I think Raven's character has significantly improved since season 1.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of what they're doing with their character, and I think her performance is better too.
Agreed. And I think scene to scene, like, even though the fight with Superboy was fine, the interaction of it's Starfire, Wonder Girl, Dove, and Raven. Hawk does show up, yeah, and I like the mallet. It felt like a Harley Quinn, like, hey, that's coming out today too. I thought their interaction with trying to figure out what to do with Superboy was funny, and even though you specifically pointed out the like, oh, you must have mistaken me for somebody else, was dumb. He's one of the most famous people in the world. Her and Starfire and Dove being like, what does this mean?
I thought that interaction
everybody's interactions were fine. Yeah. It's just episodes.
Yeah. So let's go into it. Now we'll get into the chronological stuff. And the tease that Blackfire is the main villain of next year, but it's not really Blackfire, but it is kind of Blackfire.
She's got magic. Because we're not going to Tamaran. This show cannot. And we'll get. I think now 2 seasons in, I see an overall place where the show struggles, which I think involves that. So before we get into that, right off the bat, we basically Deathstroke is done.
Yep. And that made me have to think back on what the progression of his character is, because we only really learn who Deathstroke is. To be fair, we do get an episode where we learn more about Jericho, and in that we learn more about Deathstroke.
Yes.
But it kind of feels like maybe it would do better as a full watch along, like a full watch through, if I did it like if I did it back to back to back. Binge.
Like a
Thank
binge,
couldn't
yeah,
think of it. Couldn't think of that word.
What is it you call it when you watch all of a show?
Yeah, that's how I watch everything.
Yeah.
So it's weird to not do that. Yeah, I think it might be better because it feels like at the end of this beginning of this episode that I'm like, oh, I want to care more about Deathstroke. I don't want to empathize with him in any way, but I don't really care that he's here right now. And it sucks because in like the last episode when Jericho tries to get him to jump on front of the bus, I'm like, oh, that's a cool scene. But also, I don't really know anything about you. I don't, besides that you don't like the Titans, more specifically Dick Grayson. Also, you were an assassin. It's not that I need you tied to another character. It's just at this point, like I'm looking back and I'm like, has anyone really gone on a journey? Like, really? Like, has anyone really, besides Conner, I'd say, kind of like has to overcome something?
Yeah, and I think Nightwing's grown a lot. I mean, this is essentially a Dick Grayson show, and it always has been.
But, like, I'll get into him, too, in a second, but just specifically Deathstroke. Yeah. At the end of this first 10 minutes of this episode, I'm just like, I'm left kind of like disappointed, but also I like what I got, but I think they could have done more.
I think perhaps what your response is that this finale, this whole season, the threat has essentially been Deathstroke, and he doesn't get to be the final big bad. And I think that plays into kind of what I was referring to earlier, is that this show has struggled with. It likes these characters, loves these characters, has reasonably good takes on these characters, but in no way has the budget to give these characters threats that match their skill level, considering how many there are and the power levels of some of them. And I think the first clue of that is in the flashback to Aqualad, when it's like, we took out 3 robbers and Aqualad threw some water at him, and you're like, did all of you? Robin could have done that. Why are all of you here? Like, and I think that's been like, Dr. Light was interesting, but you never got the sense of like, oh, this is like a really big threat that all these people need to stop, because the show can't do that. And so I think that's why Deathstroke isn't the final bad guy here, because it's like all the Titans don't need to team up to take that guy, and ended up being Superboy. But Deathstroke's been the guy we've been building up. So instead of getting a cathartic finale to his struggles and everybody's struggles with him, it's like Nightwing faces off with him. I did like that, because if it was just Nightwing, like, no, I'll handle it. I did like that Rose showed up, because it would have, with all that Dick has been trying to learn for the past basically 2 seasons of like, hey, maybe don't bail on everybody all the time. Maybe hang out with the team once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad it wasn't just him, and I'm glad Rose in her stupid costume showed up to
her eye.
Yeah, her eye. It's really distracting.
So after our last review, I was like, oh, it's like fine. Yeah. And then I looked back at an image when I was socialing, and I was like, oh, I forgot. I really blew it right out of my brain.
The giant bug eyes.
The venom eye.
It's one thing when it's like Dove, because they're like goggles, which is, I mean, they're not great, but it's fine. At least makes sense. This is like, why is that even
there?
Especially when Deathstroke's mask is just their normal eye holes. Like, what's going on there?
Also, just like looking at it, I was like, where's her eye? Where's her eye patch again? I don't know which side it's on right now.
It's confusing, but yeah, she shows up and they take out Deathstroke, and it really is. And then Jericho, who has been a big crux of the emotional arc of this season, instead of getting him at the end, like that was our big save. It kind of happens and he's in Rose, and then we forget about it for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, so there's not too many Deathstroke kids to think about, because now they're just
just the one kid. I mean, I'm
not great.
I'm going to assume that next season they're going to resolve that somehow.
I hope so.
But I think maybe that's why you feel like the journey of Deathstroke is incomplete, which was why I was kind of hoping when they're like, he's dead on the ground. Oh yeah, he's super dead. No way he's gonna come back. I was hoping for the classic villain, like we turn around and he's not there. Oh shit, where'd the body go?
Yeah, because it's just one sword, just like one sword.
And we
stab.
know he can heal.
Yeah, like one sword stab.
Yeah,
Cadmus is gonna go get him, and they're gonna turn him into,
Yeah.
And that's not like that. That's not like a bad story, and I like it when they do that sometimes. But yeah, I think the big thing is that this wasn't the big threat. It was Superboy, and Superboy is a character that's only interacted with 2 people, 3 people.
Yeah.
And Gar, really Starfire when he's naked, and then Raven because she was standing in the room.
Yeah. And this also leads to some of it opens up some of the more glaring confusions of the season, because like where was the mother figure character that helped? Like where has she been?
There's Crypto until the end.
Until the end.
Yeah. Where is she? Not, I'm dead, maybe? I don't know.
Didn't they capture Crypto too when they captured him?
Yes.
So they could have used him for the whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing, because you want the finale to like things to like click into place and like, oh, I get why we did this. And I said this before we started recording. It reminded me a lot of the Doom Patrol finale, where it was just like, well.
But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that more because you got a rat and a cockroach making out.
I mean, it's Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It delivered fully on what it was supposed to be.
But it was still kind of that like, oh, you didn't know how to land this plane.
Yeah, so they went into a living picture, and then they're like, "Isn't this cool?" And then they're done.
Which is hopefully maybe they can take a note from some of their animated shows that I think did a better job of.
Well, it's easier to slightly easier and cheaper to draw it than to bring it to life.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't have made that the story. I don't know. They're so Cadmus is the big threat. Beast Boy as a tiger. Cops don't know what to do about that.
Cars are flipped. Like how did is he like a super tiger?
Tigers are strong.
Yeah,
that's a lot of cars.
Jeep flipping tiger, like whole panic. Like
if you hit a tiger with a car, it would be down.
It would be down. And if you shoot a tiger, it will be dead. It will be dead.
That's pretty.
You don't need a Superboy to fight a tiger.
Like the cop on the ground, be like, what do we do? And also he's like, no, get away.
I also don't know. I don't know how we're supposed to. Part of me wants us to just kind of ignore it and move on, just because I don't like these plots very much. But like, how does Beast Boy? You can't just go around being Beast Boy now. A Green Tiger mauled a hell of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And then Dick Grayson, they knew Detective Dick Grayson was incarcerated. Like he can't just go around being Dick Grayson anymore.
Well, he's got this. He's got this thing on his eyes.
The mask, the domino mask.
He's got this on.
Yeah. But when he's not doing that, how's he supposed to go get groceries?
Oh, like this.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the golden Yukon potatoes, please.
So part of me hopes that like they just like, oh well, whatever. We're just moving on in season 3 because whatever.
Because they don't have an answer.
Yeah, but like
because there is no answer. There's nothing that makes any sense.
Bruce Wayne magic.
So before we get to the end, I just want to bring this up because it's stuck in my brain right now. Nightwing's arc over the past 2 seasons is that he has to learn to not run away when he is what?
not to turn inward. I actually thought this worked, and I thought his scene with Ian Glenn really worked.
Oh no, that explained it.
But it's not to turn inward.
Not to turn inward, which he does about 4 to 10 times in the first season.
Yeah. Every other episode, he's like, "Well, I guess I'm out."
Yeah,
and then this season, it was one big one at the end. And the benefit is everybody got to do it. Everybody got in on the being pouting and leaving and not being a part of the season.
So what happened with that was he went to prison.
Which, by the way, I honestly don't think either the show didn't or Dick didn't really learn his lesson, because when he's talking to Beast Boy at the end, Beast Boy's like, "It's my fault because of the tiger." He's like, "No." Dick Grayson's like, "No, it's my fault." Like, I don't think that's the lesson, Dick. You need to stop blaming yourself for it. That's the lesson Daredevil's been trying to learn for 3 seasons. Stop blaming an Arrow for 8 seasons. Stop blaming yourself.
To be fair,
because it's Cadmus's fault.
It's Cadmus's fault. But Dick, you left a teenager to take care of a weapon.
Yeah.
And was like, and you can like feed him, change him, do that kind of stuff.
Listen, I'm not saying that you didn't make mistakes. I'm just don't put the body count on yourself.
Man, I'll put it on him.
Hey, fair enough.
He gets incarcerated in a federal penitentiary under his name, Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm Rick.
Wait.
Grayson.
Yeah. And now I'm a talent for the Court of Owls. Anyway, comics. That's the comics right now.
So my point of bringing that up is that I am confused by a lot of the arcs in this season. Like Raven, like sometimes her power goes a little crazy.
Oh yeah, we didn't resolve what's going on with Raven, and
she made a gargoyle come to life and like eat a dude, and I was like, that was cool.
It's even more complicated than that. Is that she did not intend to. Her powers, independent of her, decided to do that, which is not great.
Starfire lost some of her powers,
which we also don't know why that is. Although I will say the her reads of those lines, like when she's like fighting Superboy and she's like, "Oh, I regret this." That stuff. I think Anna Diop.
Yeah.
I think she did a really good job with a lot of those. Or again, I think the performers in this are really good. It's just the material does not live up to their performances. And I think the show's honestly, and I hate to say this, it's just too ambitious for what it's actually able to accomplish. It's like there's too many characters. Some of those characters are too powerful for what you're able to do. And as much as I hate to say it, it's like you might want to shed some of the weight.
You might have to.
Yeah, for the next season, just because, like, especially if you're getting into Blackfire and we're already doing the conceit where it's like she's not even arriving, even though Starfire's ex was able to get here.
Blackfire's not leaving.
Blackfire's not leaving. She's sending some sort of
drones.
Yeah, whatever. And it's like, hey,
who's shooting that
like
stuff?
who do you get rid of? Like, I mean, like, I guess Hawk and Dove because they're the least essential. But I love those actors and I like their performance and they have one of the best episodes of this entire show. So it's like, you know,
and their arc in this season, just kind of taking stock on everything, is that they're together. He doesn't trust Dawn because she's going out and doing like vigilanting,
even though they agreed not to,
and they agreed not to because they both kind of have like addictive personalities. His is literally an addiction, and hers is to this and violence, I guess.
Yeah.
So that is not dealt with for about more than half the season, and then we get an episode where they're like, "Let's break up."
Right. Even more specific, Hawk's like, "Bro, we bring pain. Let's break up," and then immediately goes to drugs and
and he
undermines his whole argument.
Yeah, and then that's it, and then they come back together. Not as partners, not as
who knows?
Partners.
I don't know. I got the impression that he's like, maybe we can still doink as superheroes, and maybe just because Watchmen this week as well. Like, it's just like this seems unhealthy. This whole situation seems unhealthy.
And Gar this season. Sorry, I know it sounds like I'm spinning right now. I'm just trying to figure out if anybody did anything in this show. Jericho changed a lot. Rose changed a lot. Jason changed a lot. And Jason didn't really get an out on this besides him running away with his cool hair and his cool bike.
I have a feeling we're setting up Jason for Red Hood stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's fine. It is going to be weird because I always see like Red Hood as like a grown adult. And it's going to be that actor, and that actor still plays very young. But that's fine. I look forward to those confrontations. I think on individual character basis, like when I think about a Red Hood Nightwing confrontation, I'm excited for that. What I'm less excited for now, 2 seasons out, is the overall arc of the season, because the show has convinced me that like Hawk and Dove episodes, Superboy episode, the just stuff with Jericho, the individual episode to episode character stuff that they can and do pretty often, I think, nail. The overall Trigon, Deathstroke, Cadmus. So the Blackfire stuff, it's like,
because you can't. What are you going to bring a bunch of Starfires down?
Yeah, and it's with their powers. I don't know. Just to wrap out what, and then we can dive more into the overall season. They fight Beast Boy. Well, they don't fight Beast Boy, Raven. And I did like this callback to the first episode where Beast Boy emotionally helped her, and now Raven's able to emotionally help Beast Boy.
There was one positive to having the
finale as the premiere.
premiere.
And then they all fight Beast Boy or Superboy, and then Raven uses her abilities to psychically connect Dick Grayson.
Is that what you can do?
Superboy, sure. Also, have we established that she can heal people?
Yes. Last season, that was the big thing, was Gar got hurt, and Trigon's like, use my power, and you can bring him back. That was...
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Because she did that this episode. I was like, whoa, what? Anyway.
The psychic stuff is, like, I know she, like, read dreams and stuff, so I'm like, sure.
Whatever. She's a space witch. And
they love that joke.
Dick Grayson helps Superboy. And when you think about... None of that makes sense. I did think Brenton Thwaites' performance in it was very reassuring. Yeah. He's got good dad vibes. Like,
he's got dad vibes.
I like the progression from Grandpa Daddy Batman to fun Big Brother Daddy Nightwing. I thought that worked.
Yeah.
And then the dumbest part of the episode was like, the tower's falling over. Wonder Girl stopped it and everybody stopped and like, oh shit. What are we going to do about that tower? Even though there's Superboy and there's Wonder Girl and there's Raven with her psychic abilities and Starfire is still able to take a punch from Superboy, so she's not completely depowered. Like,
yeah, maybe Hawk could put her arms up. Maybe
a Nightwing can run, catch her real quick.
Yeah, hit it with
like,
batons.
There's so many options.
So Donna does it, which apparently the electricities are.
Oh no!
And then she dies, and none of the Titans are like, you know what? We'll call it. Don't take her to a hospital.
Yeah.
She's like
she's super
Themyscirian
dead. Yeah.
When they're like, you're Themyscirian, go try to talk to him. And it's like,
That was like Kryptonese. Like, what?
Amazonian?
Yeah.
You're just Amazon.
You're an Amazon.
You're mini Wonder Woman. Go talk to mini Superman over there. So she dies,
They
and
decide that she's dead.
they throw a full funeral.
We guess it's just
cure.
a casket that they give to a plane of Amazons.
Yeah. It's not even invisible.
And then Ray's not even invisible. Missed opportunity.
Could you imagine them like and you just get the shot of an empty sky. Oh, they're taking off now. Oh, I guess they must be gone now. I get why that's not in the movie. I understand why the invisible jet has
I'm still hoping Wonder Woman 1984.
I get why it's been ditched a little bit because
I'm still hoping.
It's great, but also it's dumb as
hell.
Why can you see her on the inside?
Yes, I think it's a way to have her fly without her having fly. It's dumb. But I wanted Wonder Woman 1984 though.
Seated.
And also crazy dark in New Frontier. That's one of the darkest visuals in New Frontier.
Oh, that was the only cool reason to have that.
So they put her on a plane, and then Raven says what the audience is thinking, which is like, she's not dead, right? We're going to bring her back.
And Dick's like, no. Oh, no, they'll figure something out. And she's like, you know what? I can heal.
Yeah, why didn't we try that?
Like immediately.
Because it's been at least at the bare minimum a day.
Yeah.
Probably more.
Yeah, probably more.
We didn't try that.
To get the jet there.
Whatever.
So she goes off to train with the Amazons, which is kind of a cool idea.
I think it's the same thing we're doing with Beast Boy. Where it's like, oh, we can't use their powers that often. We got to train them to actual fight. So
we don't have to do this
anymore.
The
CG effects.
Yeah, so she's going off, and like there's like a guarantee that Donna's coming back. So it's like, yeah, I think you could have killed like a Hawk or Dove. No offense, I like him a lot, but like it would have made more sense.
Or at least like I think once Batman hacks into what Cadmus is doing, it's like, well, why didn't just to streamline things? Why didn't we have Deathstroke? If the idea was Deathstroke's not a big enough threat for all of them, but Superboy is, have Deathstroke control Cadmus's stuff, so they have to fight Beast Boy and Superboy, and then they fight Deathstroke, and then he does the classic like, I set bombs all around the carnival, boom, and then at least. It would still be dumb that the tower falling electrocutes Donna, but at least then it didn't just happen. Like it meant something.
Mm-hmm.
Like technically at this point, Beast Boy or Superboy could be like, oh shit, I accidentally killed Wonder Girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's lame. That's lame.
It was really, really lame. Like
that was the moment I was like, most episodes I'm like, this is a letdown, but it's fine. And then that happens, like, that's dumb. Mm-hmm. That was just straight up dumb.
And then another dumb part where it's like a lot of people sitting around doing nothing is when they're having dinner.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
And then they like Beast Boy's like, hey, there's like a bomb going off and a bunch of fires, and everyone's like,
what are we gonna do? Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna?
Bunch of dumb baby people, and it's like, what? Donna stuck her hand in a socket, and now no one's gonna go do anything anymore. You bunch of idiots.
But they're mourning. I did kind of get that because they're mourning.
There's innocent people. What I imagine are just individually exploding somewhere in the city, and you're just like, well. Our friend.
Maybe I was more accepting of it because every time they face
Donna didn't even die fighting somebody. Yeah. She didn't die. It's like
I accepted it more just because every time else they team up to take a threat, I was always like, I feel like the cops could have taken care of this. I feel like the cops could have taken care of this. So when they're like, maybe we shouldn't go, it's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't because I feel like the cops can take care of most of the stuff you fought.
Send Superboy.
Just send Superboy.
Just tell him not to fight the cops.
Another thing you pointed out is when, and this ties back to this was the one thing that this episode did kind of explain that I don't know why we couldn't have explained in that episode. You get the moment where Starfire, even though she was the most petulant about Bruce Wayne showing up, now she's like, you know what? Super thanks. We wouldn't have teamed up without you. We definitely needed you, Bruce Wayne.
You said he mansplained.
Yeah, of all the
to come back together, and so now you're thanking him.
Yeah, of all the characters to do that, weird. And then he's like, oh no, you must have confused me with somebody else.
It's Bruce Wayne. It's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You didn't confuse him with it. The person that you now know is Batman. I'd be like, I'm going to remember what that guy looks like. Because now whenever he wears the cowl around me, I'm going to be like,
Also,
Can I see it?
Also, I want to point out that when Dove handed back that toy, her mask was up. They don't give a shit about their secret identities. Anyway,
I know. I love
also,
that part.
Yeah,
I love that part where it's like, "Hi, I'm Dawn," and it's like, "I don't know what your other name is, so it doesn't matter." I mean, Superboy and Starfire don't have any masks on.
Yeah.
It's just Hawk and Nightwing.
Yep.
Bunch of babies for looking like that.
Yeah, and so I guess what we're supposed to determine is that Raven, her psychic abilities working outside of her subconscious, basically doing what it wants to do, which is fine.
So that's the setup with the gargoyle.
I guess so, but why did we wait? Why didn't we have that explanation in that episode?
And why Elko?
Yeah, what in Nevada? She made everybody go to Nevada just to go back to San Francisco.
In New Mexico or Arizona, wherever that prison was. It was not in California.
I thought it was San Quentin, which is the big Californian prison. I think it's...
Oh, I thought it was somewhere. That's why, if it was San Quentin, then...
No, but I think you're right. I think they mentioned that it wasn't in San Francisco, but it's like, but we have San Quentin, right?
Yeah, and you didn't send him to like a super prison. You sent him to a regular prison. You sent...
Whatever. You know what? Whatever. Things that did work in the finale, I really liked the exchange between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I did
like it too.
I thought it was a good performance by Ian. Again, it just his Batman. Like, hey, one little bit of advice. It's like, you know what? I want more people to start picking up on this version of Bruce Wayne because it's actually fun.
And here's I put an argument for maybe why. No, I don't imagine this Batman being as dark as Dick thought he was.
Yeah, no, I
nope.
cannot.
I almost had an argument where I was like, oh, maybe like...
What if we get a flashback where Ian Gunn's just beating up Dick Grayson, like, you will be stronger. You know what? He got way better.
Alfred maybe tries to like pull him off, and he's like, that boom, Alfred's dead. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's on a lot of medication now, and he went through a hell of a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. So it's like we just ignore Dick's perception of... Batman.
Maybe he did grow, but it is hard to imagine this Batman being that
violent.
We did in the flashbacks. We did get the like you're supposed to lay on the cold floor to get rid of your fever.
Yeah, which is like, but that sounds nice. Yeah. If I had a fever, I'd lay on the ground.
But I like that exchange. I like where Dick has grown as a character, and I hope it's the show acknowledging that they can't keep going back to this well of him
being a baby.
Yeah, and bailing out on everybody. Because I think the show works at its best when the team is together.
It doesn't. This show is so confused. It feels like it doesn't know what to do because it like you made a good point where it's too ambitious. No. So it tries to take it back a little bit. And then it does an episode like Superboy, that was a really cool episode.
Yeah, and the powers looked really cool.
Mm-hmm. Crypto grabbed the missile out of the air and threw it back.
Maybe the show needs to accept more of an anthology feel like in each episode. Because whenever an episode says, hey, we're focusing on this character, this pair of characters, I think we can agree those are like the best episodes. Mm-hmm. So maybe it needs to like this episode, Donna and Starfire just go and hang out. And it's not like they're leaving the team. It's just we're focusing... Teams can be taking on multiple missions at once. That's why you have a team, so that...
You don't need to send 7 people to take on, like, 3 crooks.
It's what Young Justice learned. Young Justice has, like, 150 characters, but each episode's like, hey, we're focusing on these people right now.
Mm-hmm. And the combo that works the best.
Yeah. Or it provides interesting things or whatever. So it's like maybe that's... Hopefully, I think this season is significantly better than the first season, and hopefully the third season can continue to improve. Despite the fact that I think this finale was very disappointing.
I can't say significantly better for myself because it just got back on its bullshit, basically. Yeah. And that sucks because I want to like it more. It seems like the actors are having a good time. And they're all the characters I like. But, it's just not meshing for me. And the first part of this season was super solid, introducing Deathstroke. And, the way that, when Starfire and Dick teamed up to take him on, and, Deathstroke didn't know what to do, but he could still incapacitate both of them. Yeah. That was really cool. Taking on Beast Boy, that'd be easy. Just it was, and he's dead. Superboy, he wouldn't know what to do with. And that would have been an interesting challenge, but no. And also, a way to get around that is that he takes over Cadmus and makes Superboy have to go fight him. And so at the end, Superboy, they break through. He goes after Deathstroke, and then... be done.
No,
it's cool. That'd be a way to really streamline a lot of this stuff.
There were ways to streamline this, and I think, I think it just once the team broke up, it didn't quite know what to do with all of those threads.
Yeah,
and it just it lost the lead. But again, that
Raven made friends with that person for a second and killed that guy.
Yeah. I think episodes 2, the end of episode 1 through the Jericho episode, that last flashback episode, I think it was overall very solid. And these last few episodes, it's too many, unfortunately, I think it's like 4 or 5, were rougher. But yeah, I don't. What would you rate this episode and the season?
This episode was like a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Man, that Dawn of Death scene was so stupid. It was so dumb. They're like a Titan will fall. You remember the ads?
Yeah,
it was like Titan will fall, Titan will rise. Who rose?
Good question.
Nightwing?
We should put Beast Boy in Doom Patrol. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Just put Beast
They'll
Boy in
just
Doom
know
Patrol.
what to do with him more. He'll have
And that's
way more to do.
And that's one less special effect you got to figure out for. And also, at this point, he's got enough trauma to hang out with the rest of them. You know what I mean? To like unpack.
Cyborg and then Beast Boy get to hang out. And that'd be really cool.
No Cyborg this season.
And they made Cyborg
not one Cyborg hanging out with the Teen Titans or the Titans in this episode.
Cyborg could use all of his powers in Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I think, but also Doom Patrol's less focused on the action stuff and more focused on the psychology and the personalities. So therefore, it's less like we want it less.
Remember when those people were made out of books and like dictionaries and stuff, and they kept blowing them up with his sonic cannon?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 out of 10 for this finale. Really bummed. For this season, it started good, fine, and it got bad for me because it was like, what do we do in prison? Why do we go out in Nevada? Like, why? Like, it was just a lot of like, why are we doing literally anything that's happening on screen right now? How was Deathstroke in that house for a second? Like at his ex-wife's house? Like, why was he there?
Because I thought they did a good job seeing it, like because Jericho's there, and she knows Jericho's in there, and so she's trying to help Jericho essentially.
Yeah, I didn't. It seemed like Slade had most control though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so just not. I'm not feeling it. I give this season 5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm.
You're really letting those last few episodes.
They really sandbagged the show for me. You know, Connor's episode, I give that like a 8.5 out of 10. That was really good.
Yeah.
But the way I'm feeling right now, you know what? Fine. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
The season is 6 out of 10. What would you give this episode?
I'd give this episode a 6.5. I thought it was the weakest of the season, unfortunately. But overall, I think this season was stronger. And I would give the season
starting with Trigon.
yeah, I'd give the season somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8. Like a 7.5 feels low for me, but 8 feels a little bit high. Thinking of the season overall. But I do think a majority of the episodes were solid. And so I'm not going to let it's a bummer because it's the finale. I'm not going to let the poor finale tank the rest of the season for me.
Yeah.
Things I did like. I will say, unfortunately, I think this show has been better than most of our CW shows this season, which is a bummer.
You're not wrong. I'll be honest, they're all just different forms of disappointment for me, which is a bummer. But I'm really excited to talk about Harley Quinn. And the first episode that we reviewed is going to be up on this channel very soon. Please subscribe if you haven't already and check out all of our other reviews for movies, TV shows, maybe a video game. Maybe we'll talk about a video game. Maybe we'll talk about video games. You can't stop us. But also you can check out patreon.com/onlystupid-answers for our watch-alongs for Watchmen. Also early reviews. You can get this stuff earlier. Not this specifically, but everything else.
Also, if you're excited about Crisis of Infinite Earths, we're going to be sitting down with Roxy like we do for all of our CW shows to talk about Crisis of Infinite Earths at patreon.com. And that's exclusively at patreon.com/onlystupid-answers.
Don't miss out.
Yeah.
Also, Harley Quinn, I've got a lot of really good things to say about that. I am thoroughly excited to talk about that, and I hope you guys are too. Please check it out. The DC Universe app is pretty dang cool. While I was disappointed with this season, I think Doom Patrol rules. I think a couple episodes of Swamp Thing really rule. Young Justice and all the comics they have to offer are amazing. Please go check it out and support it because they're making good stuff over there. At DJ Talks Trash, at Sam Basher, at Only Stupid Answers on Twitter.
You got the files from Stupid.
Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Bless you. Yep, I'm going to cut that out. Don't worry about it.
Leave it.